In this video, we're going to start talking about some advanced strategy settings that you can use to be able to keep your bot profitable depending on what market you're dealing with. Okay? So, here in Gunbot, as we had in an earlier video, you saw I kept the settings pretty much the same. Whereas Bollinger Band, and it was traveling in and out of the Bollinger Bands. One of the things you can think about, and one of the things that I do, is I will allow the Bollinger Band to do a buy for me. So if we go back to Coinigy, and using the last one that we had, which is PivX, and I activate a Bollinger Band on it, let's just imagine I didn't have a bag, and I wanted to trade this. It was in, for me, if I didn't have a bag, it was actually in play right now, right? So if it was not, if I had no purchases into this, or were holding absolutely no bags, I could sit there and say, okay, I want to buy at the Bollinger Band level. So when it's here, buy, right? Because we set this up to be 5%, because we're in a bear market based off of what we learned earlier, which was that there's a season to Bitcoin, so it affects other coins, right? So as Bitcoin took a little bit of a dip here in August, September, PivX took the same dip with Bitcoin. This is what we talked about earlier. So if I know PivX was taking a dip, or even here in September, when Bitcoin again took a little bit of a dip, it took the dip again. So if I know these things are happening, now what I can do is have my bot trade a little smarter, which is, let's say I decide I want the Bollinger Band to buy here. But what if I did something different? Rather than waiting for this other 5% Bollinger Band or 20% or whatever, so rather than buying here, or waiting for this movement to go all the way up to the top, because what if it bought, say, here and didn't reach all the way to the top? Or what if I bought here and it didn't reach all the way to the top? I'm trying to find a Bollinger that actually did. Oh, it'd be better if I set it to 15 minutes, because that's what the actual bot has. So let's say you bought here. The bot bought somewhere in here, and it was going up, like right here, and this is a perfect example. It was going up, but it didn't quite reach where it needed to be, though it did hit it later, but there's no guarantee it was going to hit that top before it went down. Let's just say it didn't get to hit that top. It stopped right here and actually was starting to make a move down, but you bought it, say, let's say you hit that Bollinger Band right here. So if it bought it here and it didn't make that top, what about this gain that you could have made on this? It didn't reach all the way up here at the time. Yes, it reached it in the future, but you don't know that. You know, if you're over here with this trade, you don't know it's going to reach the top, and the bot doesn't know that. It's not going to trade as if it knew that. So you bought it down here somewhere, down here. So what I do is I set the Bollinger Band, and then I give it a step gain. What this now does is allows me to still have the power of catching a Bollinger Band as it's swinging down, but rather than waiting for it to go up just in case it doesn't reach there, it now allows me to be able to go in with a step gain and use this level right here. So I will use Bollinger Band, this setting here, for the actual buy level, so 5% for the buy level, but I'll now use a step gain to be able to step my way up into profitability. So what that does is, now let's just say it's going up, it's not doing anything, it may not have hit, it's holding on to its 2, but it's not really taking it. If it does decide to take this trade, it doesn't. But what if it does catch this and it rides it up? What it's going to do is say, first, try to get me 2%. Next, try to get me 5%. Next, try to get me 70%. Right? So that's what this will do. I've actually set this to 35% to follow a more strategic pattern where it may not get to 70%, but I might get to 35%. So now when you're doing that, you're now allowing it to make a decision. Should I sell off here or wait? Maybe this thing is making a move back up. Let me try to sell here, or let me try to sell here, or let me try to get all the way up here. Bollinger Man may just go ahead and sell off right there. Step gain might allow you to sell when this market starts making this correction and sell right here. I've seen that happen with a couple of my trades. Right now, with this version of Gunbot, there are glitches and there's times where it does not catch the bottom of a Bollinger Band, but sometimes it's when the market is making this, like some people are like, hey, it didn't trade here. Yeah, the market went down here. You should be happy the bot didn't buy here, because look how long you had to wait before it came back up here. Right? Or hey, it touched right here. Well, guess what? The market went down here. Maybe you should be happy the bot didn't buy there. Now the bot will buy here, and then you can sell off here. That's what you need to think about with this setting, is that when you're dealing with advanced settings, you can use these settings and come up with strategies, if you understand what they do, to do other things that you may want to do, that the system can now be more flexible. That's what I mean, but it's not set it and forget it, because you can now, in a tighter market, like something like a bear market, you can have these misses where the bot is going to miss these bad buys. But then when it does buy here on the Bollinger Band, because I kept it so tight, and now it's done this run up, with a step gain, I can now have it cash out at a higher position. It's going to wait and let the trade play out. And then sell right when this market did this dip, and it won't buy again until it might not buy here. Okay, I might buy here, or it might buy here, but it most likely is going to buy right here. So that's what you have to think about with your advanced settings. Advanced settings is thinking about, what does this do? This strategy do? What does this strategy do? And how will it play out in the market? This is why you want to make sure that you're setting your max balance low enough to understand your bot for a while. Okay? So that is the advanced strategy of thinking about your bot a little bit differently to be able to make better plays based off of multiple strategies being used together.